up, everybody? I have another reminder for you, and I'm sure you've heard countless videos on this, but again, I want this to be yet another reminder to you about the kind of fight that we fight as Christians, as followers of Jesus. So I've got my Bible here, and I want to read something real quick. It says, "Finally, be strong in the Lord, in the strength of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the schemes of the devil." It goes on to say, "For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers over this present darkness, against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly places." Guys, I think a lot of the time, and I get trapped in this so much, but what I can do is I can start to want to do the physical fight, I guess, if you want to call it that. Get tangled up in how I look, what people say about me, how big and strong I might look, or just all of those things that are on the outside, right? All of those things that we tend to look on, just by appearance. But remember, we're told also in the Old Testament that the Lord does not look on the appearance as man looks at the appearance. He looks at the heart. And a lot of this goes hand in hand. God's not over here telling us to fight an actual physical war. No, we're fighting a spiritual war. One that takes place in the mind, one that takes place in the heart, one that takes place in the spiritual realms. You guys, we already knew that there was something, and this something has been made clear. The spirit of the Antichrist is more than rampant in our society. Just look at the things that are displayed on television screens. Look at the things that you can find on your own devices. I mean, man, just go on social media and look for like 5 minutes. Sometimes not even 5 minutes. It's always out looking for you. Evil is always out there looking for you. So I don't say this to rage bait or to scare or to fearmonger. No, but I say this to actually bring light to it. Be reminded, we are in a spiritual battle. The only way that we defeat the schemes of the enemy is by putting on the full armor. I could go into it, but the belt of truth, the breastplate of righteousness, the shield of faith, the shoes of readiness of the gospel, right? All of these things we must have on to combat the enemy. And it's to be said, everyone, we're not going out here picking fights. So no, we're not going out here picking fights saying like, "Come on, devil, come at me." No, it's to be ready for when he attacks us. One of the things that I used to get so caught up in as a young believer with much passion, but just lacking so much of the knowledge that I have now, I would almost go pick fights. I almost wanted the enemy to show up. Until God was like, "Son, that's not right. You don't want to be delivered into temptation." Remember what the Lord's Prayer says. It says, "Deliver us from evil. Deliver us from temptation." So we don't want to have to fight the enemy, but we know that one of these days we will have to fight messengers of the enemy. We will have to fight against the lofty opinions that raise themselves up against Christ, against us, against the church, right? So we have to be ready for that. It's just a necessary part of life. So I know I don't want this to seem like a rant, but I want you to take joy and be encouraged in this reminder that we don't fight against flesh and blood. We don't fight in raising our voices or beating each other up. Our fight is one of the mind, of the spirit. So, be reminded. Hopefully you gained something from this. See ya. Peace.